Hi everyone, welcome to our travel seminar info session about Botswana, education in a global context. Tonight, we're just going to go through kind of the basics of the travel seminar, introductions. I'll talk a little bit about spring 2021, then we'll get into the academics of both the on-campus course and on-site, what you can expect. And I will also talk about the cost, financial aid, and application process. And then we'll leave time for questions. Ooh, I think we have someone joining us. No. So go ahead. Ginny, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. My name is Ginny Lee. I'm a professor in the Education Studies Department. I'm in my 5th year at Skidmore, 3rd year full-time, and I love education and I love travel, and this is a perfect way for me to bring those two loves together.
Great. And my name is Emily Gall. I am a program manager in the Off-Campus Study and Exchanges office. Our office oversees all the faculty-led travel seminars. So I work with students on the application and pre-departure process, and then I work with the faculty and our on-site partners to do all the arrangements for the group on site. And if enrollment is sufficient, I will be joining your group in Botswana. I've spent a lot of time there, so I'm very familiar with Gaborone, the capital, where the travel seminar will be based. So in terms of spring 2021 and COVID, as this is a common question for a lot of people, our ability to run any of our travel seminars is kind of based on 3 different criteria. One being the Department of State and CDC ratings of countries around the world. Right now, all the countries in the world are almost all of them. Very few are less than a 3 or 4, which 4 means no travel at all, and 3 has to be cleared by our risk management. So we take that into consideration. We're also going to take into consideration whether countries will allow us to enter, that is us being US citizens or just international tourists in any capacity. So we take that into consideration. And then lastly, one thing we do have to think about and how this affects these short-term programs is the 14-day quarantine that most countries right now have instituted for anyone arriving from an international destination. So those 3 things will be taken into consideration about whether we can run spring 2021. So there's a lot of uncertainty about that. We don't know how this is all going to pan out. So we really do ask for everyone's patience and flexibility as we move forward with the planning and just kind of leading up to the travel seminar, because we don't know when things might shift and we might have to make some changes. So if you have concerns about spring, I'd be happy to talk with you. I don't have any firm answers, but we can certainly talk about options and scenarios so that you are well versed in what might happen, what could happen. Especially if this is something that you definitely need these credits, that's something we want to consider as well, because if this program is canceled, you would be out at least the travel portion, which is 3 credits for the spring. Ginny, do you want to talk about the on-campus course?
Sure. So the travel portion is actually just 2 credits. So,
All right, 2 credits.
And the total is 3 credits. So the way that we're doing it is that we have a required on-campus course that takes place before the trip. And we ran this course last spring and it was really successful. And it was not only a way for us to all learn more about the country and the culture and ourselves and our own ethnocentricity, but it was also a way to bond as a group so that when we do travel, we have those relationships and that team mentalities of working together. But in the course itself, we do talk about ethnocentricity and our perceptions of other cultures. We then start looking into the culture, the multitude of cultures within Botswana. And then as the semester went on, looking more and more into the education and the context of education in Botswana. We also read some articles about the benefits of international study that are, I would encourage you to look into some of those even before you make your decision, because there's articles about jobs and employers that are more likely to hire someone who's traveled abroad in certain settings than someone who hasn't. And then also in teaching, like, a lot of metrics for teaching are improved and increased in people who studied abroad, even for very short term like this, for 2.5 weeks. So that's also part of what we look into, and as we walk through this this course, both looking outward at Botswana and inward at ourselves. And then at the very end, even more specific, students design inquiries and investigate their own areas of interest in Botswana. So it could be like the impact of gender or race, or the impact of societal values and beliefs on education in Botswana. So that's the overall picture of what we do during the on-campus course. And it's just 1 credit. We meet for 1 hour a week, and it's really a great learning experience.
Great. And then do you want to talk a little bit about on-site, what they can expect on-site?
Sure. So on-site, the plan is to have both seminar time. So we'll have, I think we will have about 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours of seminar time that will be offered by locals. So all of these things that we're studying here, before we go, we'll find out other perspectives and more in depth when we get there, as well as other topics. So we'll have experts in the field in Botswana giving us seminars. And then we'll also have seminars with me talking about different aspects of helping out and being part of a classroom. So some of you may be in classrooms where you will be able to help quite a bit. Some of you will be observers, and we'll talk about how to walk that line and the kinds of things to look for and the ways that you can be helpful in a classroom. We're hoping to have around 30 hours of classroom placement time, but that is an area that may have to shift because of COVID concerns. We'll wait and see on that. We're not exactly sure how they'll feel about having us in their classroom spaces. So, so that's the academic part on site, where you know, my seminars, the guest seminars, guest lectures, and the field placement. In terms of the academic expectations, there will be observation hours where I'll be coming in, and those will be aligned with student homework and expectations out of class. So we'll have different themes to our structured observations, such as takes initiative and assumes responsibility, demonstrates positive supportive interactions with children, deals effectively with individual differences, completes observation notes and reflections in a timely manner. So those will be the kinds of observation topics and homework expectations.
Great. And then just to note that you'll receive 2 grades on this travel seminar, one for the on-campus 1 credit course, and then one for the traveling part, the other 2 credits.
Right. And I think, I know the on-campus one is pass-fail. I think they both are SU, I mean.
Normally we give grades, but that might be different in the spring just based on the grading.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think they shifted last spring, the grading pass-fail, so I don't know how that will impact spring 2020.
Spring 21, yeah. So in terms of activities that we have planned for while we're there, one is an overnight stay and game drive sort of safari experience that we'll have. One is a homestay weekend, and that again is another one we'll have to assess in light of the pandemic and where we are at that point in time. And then we also have the opportunity to visit a museum and also have a sightseeing tour of the city of Gaborone, and maybe again, depending on the situation, the opportunity to do some community service at an orphanage or somewhere that needs us.
Great. Yeah, and I should go back to this and say that all of these things that we have planned or we're thinking about adding to the itinerary are tentative and subject to change based on local regulations. So there might, like the homestay weekend, we just might not be able to do that as a group because of what's COVID and all of that. So just, these are examples. We'll do our best to make sure that everything is included, but we will definitely keep you occupied. There won't be a lot of downtime. So in terms of accommodation and meals, and I've like put some funny pictures of myself in here. So accommodation will likely be at a hotel near the University of Botswana, and that's the middle picture here is the University of Botswana, like the main kind of plaza area. And so students would likely be in doubles, maybe singles, again, depending on local regulations. We have several group meals planned for you all. And then we also will be giving students a stipend for any additional meals that would include transportation to and from. Gaborone is a city of malls, so everything is in a mall, whether that be like a strip mall or covered mall or an outdoor mall. So you will become familiar with malls, but that's where you would go to eat generally. The flights will be included, so we will book a flight, and we don't know what that looks like exactly yet, but we will likely fly from New York City through a European country to Johannesburg, where we will then make our way to Gaborone either by bus or flight. Again, it's going to depend on what's available and the airlines, what they're doing at the moment. So that word flexible is very important because we have to be flexible as a group. So the program fee for this is $5,300, and that includes your flights, some group meals plus a meal stipend, all your accommodation activities and insurance. For students who are eligible for financial aid can cover up to 50% of the program fee. I will note that if you do not already have a passport or you need to get a passport renewed, you need to do that as soon as possible because passport processing is severely delayed. So if you want your passport back by March, I would do that as soon as possible. So.
And also, even if it's going to expire within 6 months, expire within 6 months, that was one issue I had. Mine was due to expire, and so I needed to get a new one, even though it hadn't expired yet.
So it should be, your passport should be valid at least until December 2021, but preferably 2022. In terms of the application, everything is done online through our application system, and that application can be found at skidmore.edu/OCSE. To be eligible to study on any of our travel seminars, you have to be in good academic and social standing with the college, and we do checks on those. Meet the prerequisites. So in this case, you would have had to have enrolled in the course last spring or take the course this spring and have a 2.75 GPA. The application is pretty straightforward. You sign off on all of our policies and procedures and our signature documents. As I mentioned, we do a social and academic integrity check. There's a personal statement about why you want to do this specific travel seminar. We ask for an unofficial transcript, and then we also ask for other very short things like your passport information, emergency contact, and things like that. And then you will need one letter of recommendation and then a short meeting with Professor Lee just to make sure that you understand what this program entails and that everything's clear. And the final piece is a $250 deposit that's paid directly to our office, either through the Bursar's website, or you can pay by check or money order to our office. That we have a little mail slot right next, not right next to the door, but close to the door, that you can put it through there, and it will be processed by someone in our office. It's non-refundable unless we cancel the program for some reason, and then you get it back, or you cancel before you commit to the program around November 1st. So we do have some flexibility with that. And that $250 is put towards your program fee balance that will be billed by the Bursar's office. So if anyone has any questions, Ginny and I will be happy to answer them for you. And you can contact us. My contact email is here. And if it's relevant and you want to contact the professor, you certainly can do that directly, or anything can go through me and I can get an answer for you. So we thank you for coming today, and we hope to see you in the seminar in the spring.